One of the major themes in the Critical Zone project is the variation in climate and how the signal of the variation in climate is written in the landscape. One of the most obvious manifestations of climate change is the comings and goings of the glaciers at the very headwaters of our catchment. Every one of the peaks that grace the continental divide of the Front Range here has been periodically glaciated at 20,000, 40,000 year kind of intervals. That's most obvious. More subtle is the variation in climate and how that variation in climate has altered the rate at which rock weathers and the rate at which sediment is transported down hill slopes, often due to frost-related processes. Those two, it turns out, have greatly varied through time over the glacial interglacial cycles that have dominated this landscape. So that occurs in the middle part of the landscape, and that is the record of that variation of production of sediment in the critical zone is written in terraces out here on the plains. These terraces are big, broad, gravel-capped surfaces. The gravel might be 10 meters thick. And the pieces of gravel come from the headwaters where those pieces of gravel were weathered from the rock and trundled down the streams to be deposited here in the landscape. And it turns out that our dating of these terraces indicates that during glacial times, the terraces were being widened by river erosion of the walls of the valley, laying in a deposit of river gravels. And then when the production of sediment from the headwaters, from the crystalline core of the Rockies here, declines as we go into an interglacial, the rivers, instead of going sideways, abandon those surfaces and etch downward into this soft shale rock that dominates this edge of the high plains. And that gives us this punctuation in the landscape of broad terraces that are then abandoned and then cut in again at a lower level and then abandoned and cut in again at yet another lower level. That kind of landscape with these big flats dominates this edge of the high plains and reflects variations in the critical zone processes over the course of the last couple million years.